Hi, I'm Belinda Fenty.
And I'm Pauline and
Welcome to Let's React podcast, the podcast that amplifies the voices of artists from underrepresented backgrounds in the UK and beyond.
Yeah, we'll share our experiences, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. From addressing underrepresentation
to celebrating diverse, rich stories.
Join us on this journey as we react to the world around us and inspire change in the industry.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. How are you, Belinda?
I am good, but I've literally just been racing against the clock to get a self-taping, which I did literally to the minute. It was one of them where they asked for a lot. It was for a commercial, and they asked for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But I was in business mode. I had just had such a long day yesterday, finishing my accent class at 9 in the evening, and I was just whacked because I'd been go. And so I saved it till today, literally got it in as the clock turned that deadline, adrenaline pumping. Oh, like I wish that this wasn't a regular occurrence. But yeah, I think it's just the way my mind works. Definitely tick a lot of ADHD boxes. So that's how it is. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? How are you with tapes?
It just depends. Does your agent give you like leeway, like half an hour before tape?
You know what? I really wish they did. But the thing is, if they did, I would need to not know about it. Because my mind would then go, oh, I've got longer. They're just giving me an earlier time. Yeah, you used to work in an agency. What was it like with
Yeah,
deadlines?
no, because with the agency, like it just depended on the actor, but because I worked with a lot of kids now, with kids, you just don't know what you're going to get, especially with the parents, if the parents have no idea. And so, like, we used to give them like at least like an hour before
Yeah,
the deadline, or even some of them the day before, depending on when we got the tape. Just because if they need to redo it, they can do it. Because like there's so many incidences. That my favorite one was when
yeah,
this parent sent this tape and was so proud of the tape, and it's like, oh my God, they got to do it, like, yeah. And we're watching the tape, and the kid's amazing, but
yeah,
they it was like follow to a T, the playing background, all this stuff. But
yeah.
there was a radiator you could see at the top, and you could see the person's knickers and the parents' knickers and bras, and you're like, and
No.
then it was like getting that phone call where you call the person and you're like, oh, love the tape. Like, oh, did you get it? Yeah. Yeah. We got the tape. Oh, we got the tape. Just that, can we do it again? Why? But it was before you got it. It was amazing. No, it's just because we can see your knickers and bras on the radiator, and she was so embarrassed. Like she didn't even think about it. She was just so focused on her kid. She didn't think about like what was in the background, even though like she followed the instructions, which we said was a
Yeah,
plain background. But I think she must have thought, oh, it's a plain background. That's fine.
yeah,
That's done.
yeah.
And oh man, she was so embarrassed.
Oh no.
So embarrassed.
Tell me,
And
can you say were they at least good, the good knickers?
yeah. To be fair, they were like folded, like all up like that. You know when someone just chucks stuff onto
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, but you know what though? My favorite one, and I'm sure like because it's very no, you can't even tell. I'm not saying naming names, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So the tape was for this TV show called The Alienist on
Oh,
Netflix.
yeah, I've heard of
Yeah,
it. I've heard it's amazing.
yeah, with Luke Evans fit.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. So this show, if you haven't seen it, it's called The Alienist because it's like about this doctor who investigates murders. Like he's getting into post, when what causes of death in people, and he's really
Yeah.
good at it. And it's played by this there's a German actor. Anyway, that's not the point. Anyway,
Yeah.
but it's basically all murder mysteries and stuff, and it's set in New York, and it's all this stuff. Anyway, there was a scene where they have young boys who were in the oldest business in the world playing
Yeah.
this, like, yeah. So that was the scene, but the way they were casting it and the way they filmed it, or they were going to film it, was that the kids don't know what is happening, so it's
Oh.
filmed like they're playing a game. And so we
Oh.
had to explain this to the parents as well. The role was for a child who was going to be playing like a sex worker in
Yeah.
this scene, and they were not doing anything sexual or nothing like that. They just the role is just there. They're just part of a group of sex
Mm.
workers. You know, they're just standing
Mm.
there, and just one of them, obviously the one who had the speaking part, is talking. And so we had to explain this to all the parents whose kids had been asked to tape, right?
Yeah.
And so imagine you're on the phone, you're telling this parent, "Oh, this is the project, this is the what they're doing, and this is what the you will see when you watch it." So
Yeah.
it's important for you to understand that's what we'll see, and that's where we'll see your child, but they won't be doing anything.
Mm.
They'll be just dressed up like women, or dressed up, with makeup and all these things or whatever.
Yes.
So yes, I explained all of this as going to every single parent, a phone call, like it became like a thing I'm just explaining. And so what they wanted them to do for the tape, they just wanted them in just a plain t-shirt or whatever, and just talking, like doing an impression of, like say their sister or their sib or like
Ah,
almost
yeah,
like what,
clever.
yeah. So there was like more of a game. Oh, can you play a
Yes,
game?
I
Where
love
you're,
it.
yeah, that's it. And all you're doing is just talking about your favorite TV show or your favorite toy or your favorite thing. That's what they're doing. They're just talking about their favorite thing. That was it, right? Now, but I've told you the context. So you as a
Yes.
parent, but
Yeah.
what your child needs to do is just be in a shirt, just talking about their favorite thing, but like in the style of their cousin or sister or mom, even if they don't have
Yeah.
siblings, that kind of thing. Anyway, oh man, this mom sent us this tape, and all I have to say is basically she had dressed him in one of her silky, like kimono, like silk
Yeah.
gowns. Like it was pretty. It was a nice gown and stuff like that. It was nice. And this kid, I think she told him what it was instead of telling him what he needed to film. And
Yeah.
so he's like this, like, he was 14 years old, by the way. So
Okay.
it was, but it
It's
was
like,
kind of still,
yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, wow, and
Yeah.
mom was filming
Oh,
this, and the mom is okay."
uncomfortable.
So he was like, "Hi, my name is," and he was saying all that. "Oh, I can tell you about my favorite thing, but why didn't you?" And it was like, so, when you're watching a tape and you're like, oh,
Oh,
no, 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 I don't need to see this.
like overtly like sexual flirty. Ooh.
And, like he was a kid who didn't look 14 as well. He looked
Oh
like
no.
11, 12.
Right.
So, that awkward moment where you have to call them mum. And like I said, we gave these parents enough time because we wanted to see these tapes before we sent them.
Yeah.
And everyone else who'd done it, they just did exactly as was said. But this one parent, the odd one out, just literally, it was so cringe. Like, you're like, huh? Like, you just,
Wow.
it's like, I can't look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
So we had to
Oh
call,
my
one of
goodness.
the lead agents had to call the parent and just talk to her about it, and just say how inappropriate it was, and
Yeah.
that the
To be getting her
context.
child to do that,
Yeah,
like
because
through the whole process
the
to
context
agree.
wasn't right. It wasn't to
Mm.
do something. They're just telling you what the scene will be, so when you're saying yes to your child
Yeah,
being cast in
exactly.
this, you're yeah.
You know what you're going to see on the screen, but then you're going to be taught through it and know that they're not going to be kind of prematurely
Hmm.
sexualized. It's going to turn
Hmm.
into a game that makes it work, but they're not. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's so awkward.
Yeah, and actually, when I watched the show, because I did end up watching it anyway,
Yeah.
for that scene, they actually just had like a 18-year-old playing a role, and they just cut out. I think,
Good.
I think they probably just got a lot of cringe things, and it just didn't feel right,
Yeah, it must be
or they
so
just cut it,
hard.
or they cut the
Yeah.
scene out. But yeah, they just
These
had.
people, right, behind the scenes are just so important, especially when it comes to kids.
Mm,
And you just reminded me, even on our short film, working with your superstar niece.
yeah.
Just for the audience, Pauline's niece was playing a kid who's being shouted at by a teacher, like
Mhm.
really horrible. So I wasn't the director, but I was very much involved in this scene. I was helping our director Julia out because, I love kids. I've worked with children as a doctor and I have my own niece and I want to be so careful with them and turn everything into a game and I'm quite playful. So then, I wanted to empower Pauline's niece. So I
Mm,
was like, okay, so this is the game. He says this, but every time you can say no, or you can push back or you can yeah, like just turning I can't even remember what I said, but I was doing things the best I can so that she
mm,
wouldn't feel scared and that she could tap out at any time and that she felt like she had the power.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that is so important.
Mhm. It
and of course
is.
chaperones on set.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
because it is a tricky thing with kids. And like you said, when you turned it into a game, she wasn't overthinking it. She was actually having fun and she was trying not to laugh when she was being shouted at. And,
Yeah.
like it makes me think of like people when when you see films with kids in it, like, the recent Matilda and
Mm.
Emma Thompson plays, Mrs. Trenchbull. And one of the girls said that she got an ice cream truck in because they were filmed in the summer. So she got an ice cream
Wow.
truck in every day for the kid when the kids were on set. So they just, yeah, I was like, that's sick.
Legend.
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
like, obviously I can I imagine because Emma Thompson has also written stories, and she's done films for kids. Like she wrote and starred in Nanny McPhee, which is with kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I think it's also creating that image of like you don't want the kids to be so obviously they're acting, they have to be acting scared of you, but at the same time, you also have to remind them that they're just, they can still be kids. They're still kids
Yeah.
filming and stuff. And I always love stories like when you hear actors talking about how they're working with kids. Like I think George Clooney on The Descendants was saying there was a scene where he's filming with one of the kids, the girls, and the scene was basically the kid was eating ice cream.
Yeah.
So obviously doing take after take, but this kid was eating the ice cream all the time. So he said, so he just said, she's like, hey, slow down, just take one spoon and that's it. And it was like, but it's really good. I was like, yeah, I get it, but you're going to be sick by the time we finish doing the different takes.
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm
Insane.
eating ice cream and just couldn't believe it had this big tab of ice cream, which is a
Oh,
kid's dream.
wow.
This
That's
big tub of
unbelievable. Children, they are amazing. And I've
yeah.
seen some incredible child actor tapes,
Mm.
like the one for E.T.
Mm. Yes.
Wow, that's a masterclass in
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, there's something with so many kids that is, it's almost like some of them haven't yet put on the filters
Mm.
and they're just allowing themselves to be so sensitive and so affected that
Mm.
they're just in it. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. And then also recently I saw a bit of Sixth Sense for a screenwriting course that I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
And I saw the scene where the boy meets Bruce Willis.
Mhm.
And again, totally wowed because here's this boy in oversized kind of adult male clothing who looks like he's seen all the pains of the world.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I know we're all different, but I felt as a kid that I used to feel things really deeply, and I still maintain that. I would listen to a song and I would feel like I'd been through it. Obviously, I like hadn't. I was too young or hadn't in this lifetime, but I felt like I intrinsically understood the pains of the song and the context of the song, adult content. And I do, so I mean, this is quite woo-woo, but I really do feel like there's something wise and something within our DNA and souls where we have this true deep understanding of the human, what
Yeah.
it is to be human and all the colors
Yeah.
of the emotions. I don't know what you were like as a kid or what it's like when you put your little girl up for any acting jobs in that respect.
Yeah, because like I suppose that I mean I was a crazy kid. I used to sing to the trees and um use the wind, the rustling of the leaves in the trees as their response to me, and I'm oh my God, yes, I know, right? Yeah, I've always been like that. But I get what you're saying though. I think it's also that thing of like I know one director once said when he's worked with actors who have gone to drama school and actors who haven't, there's a difference in the sense that he can easily shape like get what he wants from actors who haven't gone to drama school because they're
Mm,
learning. Whereas with actors who've gone to drama school, have been trained a certain way, and some of them find it hard to break that habit of how to
yeah.
get there. And it's fine. He's like, it's great because when they need to get to a certain point, they get there quickly. But
Mhm.
the struggle is when you're trying to change something and they've already decided that's how it's going to be. So I
Yeah.
think it's the same with kids. With kids, they just that's just plain, like a plain piece of paper. So when you ask them to do something, especially when I was working at the agency, when you ask them to do something and you give them context, oh, they love it. They just do it because they're not overthinking it. They're just like, oh, it's fun. And
Yeah.
so, and we used to tell parents, if your kid is enjoying it, seems to love it, do it. But when you start forcing them to do it, it was hard work. It
Hmm.
was like you're getting this kid to do something, and this it's like this parent is living through their kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whenever the parent would be like, oh, they don't seem to want because, once or twice a year would meet the parents as a, they'd come in for photos and stuff. So you get to meet the parents and the parents get to meet you, the agents, you talk about stuff and things like that. When the parents are, oh, they don't seem to want to do this anymore. And you're like, that's fine. Don't force them. That's okay.
Good.
You
That's so
know? Yeah. And with commercials, it's their personality that they're looking at. Because commercials, it's more personality. Oh, big bubbly. And you know,
good.
like how they, I don't know if you know, but the Haribo adverts, like how they film it. I think I might be giving away a trade secret. The commercial where they have little
Funny.
kids, the adults repeating like little kids, and they're verbatim with the police officers going, "Oh, I really like this," and with the tiny voice. Have you seen those adverts?
No.
So like
Or if I
they have
have, I can't.
adults like dressed up like police officers, but they sound like kids. I'll send you a link to one of them.
Yeah, do.
And so trade secret.
Yeah, please.
SARS cast directors. If I don't know, but it's also a fun thing too for people to know how they
Yeah.
film that basically. Because people always wonder, like, how do they get the kids to be saying all of this stuff? And what they do is like in when kids go into castings when they're casting for Haribo, but basically they have like a table and whatever, and they put a bunch of kids together and they give them
Mm.
a scenario and tell them, oh, can you play like what do you want to do when you grow up? And they're like, oh, I want to be a fireman. Oh, cool. What about you? Oh, I want to be a nurse. Okay, cool. So try telling each other what you would do for a day, or what would you do, what would you do if you're getting ready for work or something like that.
Yeah.
And so the kids start acting out with the Haribos or they're just with toys and going, oh yeah, you see, I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna dress and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and oh yeah. And they record that. So then it depends on what they get and what they end up doing. And then
Yeah.
they get the actors in the adult actors to that they record, they learn it verbatim. So when
Love.
they're filming the advert, the
Yeah.
adults are just saying what they're like, I like this. I mean, what is this? What's this flavor? Yeah, I like this flavor. It's really nice.
Oh, I
And
love
even with
this.
the mistakes or the edits of
Mhm.
the no, wait, and then they add that in as well, like so it's
Brilliant.
verbatim, and they're really fun. So yeah,
That
that's
sounds
how.
amazing.
Yeah, so with commercials, like it's different, it's fun, but with serious stuff, like there's this kid, one of the kids they had in the books, he would just switch on and just be like ready, and he would just go and you're like, whoa. And then you're like, this is amazing. Like I got the joy of seeing he's in The Witcher. He's what's his name? Maybe it doesn't matter his name is, but he started off as a child actor and he could do voices. He plays the black elf in The Witcher,
Okay.
who befriends the lead role in the first season, and he continues to feature with the elves and stuff. But he did a reel once, his voice reel, and we just said, oh, we just need something just to show his range or what he can do and what he can say. And the mom sent this tape, and she was like, I can't believe he can do all these things. And he literally was just reading a book and telling a story, and he was doing the voices of the astronaut, he was doing the voices of the aliens, and he was narrating,
Wow.
and he was just going up and down, and it was boom, 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 pow. And the mom was like, he didn't even practice it that long.
Yeah.
I gave him the book and I told him I just want you to read this book, and it was so amazing to just listen.
Wow.
And when you'd see kids like that, you just like, oh my God, this kid is, even as an
Yeah.
adult, an actor, you just go, oh, you're so inspiring. And I
Yes.
can watch you and just be like, wow, I love that.
Completely.
I want to be that, you know.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
we had some
I mean,
kids you just watch and you're just like, kids stop. No. Like, you were talking about E.T., the tape.
yeah.
And as soon as they're finished, I did it.
Yeah.
And he also snaps you
The
back to
listeners,
reality, like,
like Pauline just went from a sort of serious sad face to a bubbly bright like face. And
but
scene.
yeah, but that's how it was. It's like even like you were saying with Elena when my daughter when we did a short film and they were looking for mixed race kid and she'd never done anything like it. I'll tell you what she thinks an actor sounds like, but anyway, so then we got there and I just explained to her that this is meant to be your birthday party and but you have a different name, so we just pretend, but
Mhm.
everything looks real because they want to film it. So you're just going to be having fun with all the other kids and they're going to be celebrating and dancing with you. So have fun, you know. And she did, and she just embraced it. So every
Love.
time the DJ would say the name, and she'd be like, "That's me." That's funny.
That's so cute. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, to have fun. And that's what we could learn a lot of. We can
Mm.
learn so much from kids, like you were
Yeah.
saying. One thing is that they know how they play hard. They
Hmm.
don't ramp when it comes to playing. They're like, whoa, straight in. But also their level of commitment,
Oh,
you know? I mean,
110%.
like, but even from when they say two or something, you try telling a 2-year-old something, or they try telling you that it's real, something's real, and you say it's not, that you're not going to win that
No.
war.
Oh my God, they will
They
argue.
will be adamant, stamping their feet, marching. No, no, black is white, mum. Black is definitely white. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And yeah, so I find that when I am the most committed to what I'm doing and when I'm having the most fun, that's when I produce the most magic.
Nice, yeah. Because you don't, there's no boundaries or there's no limitations, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's that freedom of just playing. Like when I said to Elena, what do you want to do? Because like sometimes she'll see videos of me or whatever, or find video like I'll pop up on something.
Yeah.
Because I've watched myself, on YouTube, so I'll be popping up on something
Yeah,
for whatever
exactly.
reason. And she's like, I want to be an actor. Oh, yes. Oh, look at me. I'm an actor. And I'm like, I like that. I like that for you. Just
It's amazing that she's only little and she's already got that. She knows the stereotype of the actor, darling, sweetie, darling.
yeah.
Like, wow, how?
And
Somehow
then,
she knows.
and then when I do like a West African or like Nigerian or Ghanaian or Ugandan accent, she's like, "Are you speaking Ugandan or are you speaking African?" And I'm like, "No, I've just changed my accent."
I love it. I
And
love
so
it.
sometimes I will do. She'll tell me like when I'm taking her to school, she'll be like, "Oh, Mama, dude, like talk like the Queen," and I'm like, "What do you mean talk like the Queen?" This is the Queen's English, and then she starts giggling.
Oh,
Um,
I love that.
but yeah, I use it. It's a great way for me to just practice my accents
Right?
because it's just, yeah, they
I've
don't.
done a thing with my little niece and nephew of my
Mm,
bestie where I once, because of kids, right, you do things once. If they like it, you have to do it every time. So I once, I don't know, I was in a Belinda silly, zany mood. And so I started calling out to various animals out through their garden window.
mm,
And then I would imagine the animal approaching the window. And as it crossed the window, it would come into me and I would
mm.
transform into the animal. So I'd be like, and then I'd like, go towards them and they'd be like, and then at some point I'd let them win. And then when the animal will go and I'll go, oh, and I'd be like, oh, did you just see that? Did you just see that bird coming in? And then it'd be the animal. And then so now nearly every time I go around, they'll be like, Auntie B, do the animals, do the animals, do the animals.
Oh, that's so funny. And the thing is
Yeah.
as well, they're like, whoa, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. And that's great. And you're just being, I'm playing a drama game. Just
Yeah, right?
and it's great
I
though
love
because
that.
it helps as well find the voice. Have you ever noticed you also your voice changes, your physicality
Yeah.
changes? Have
Yeah,
you?
we used to do during my acting masters animal studies. We literally had London Zoo membership for
Mm,
the entire year.
wow.
And then we were given an animal to work on for maybe a few months. And so you'd watch that animal. So I remember the first one I had was the flamingo. So I became intimately acquainted, not in a bestiality way, mind out the better, with a flamingo. And it's a subtle, like you pick up on the energy, it's a subtle movement.
Right?
And then it used to be my party trick for a bit. I'd sort of suddenly like slow down and I'd have like this small movement in my mouth. And like, like it's so fun. Like you say, it does. It can inform different characters.
Yeah.
I don't have one approach, but I like to steal different
Try
bits.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing as well as actors and we could learn from kids. It's just you just embrace it. Just let it don't be, like, oh my God, I can't. No, I'm such a grown up. No, no, no. I need to be very serious.
When you were a kid, what sort of games did you used to play in the playground? Or
Well,
enjoy playing, shall I say? Because
yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna say we didn't have playgrounds, we just had places to go. Uh, not necessary, Pauline. But no, no, so we used to because I went to boarding school in Uganda and we didn't have a playground per se. So we just had a big field and there would be activities for us to do. But we did the skipping, double dutch and all this stuff. We'd do, hide and seek. And yeah, I think sometimes we would end up because one thing, I guess. what we used to do, because we didn't really, like I said, we didn't have much of a playground. One thing we did
Yeah.
do when we were in class, we had a story time
Ooh,
where everyone had a chance to get up and tell a story.
love
And
that.
it was also a chance to use your mother tongue, or where you're from, to tell the story, because it could be a story that your grandparent told you and things like that. Some people used to take to the extreme where they would ask their friends if they knew the story, and then they'd get them to join in, and you'll be this, you'll be that, and then they'd act it out in front of the whole class.
I
And so
love it.
it would start like with the usual once upon a time, but in the language that you're using or saying it, and then you start telling the story. So for me, my fairy tales were not what your fairy tales are. They were folklore, which is technically fairy tales, but yeah, it was a lot of folklore that was, yeah.
Wow, I
That's
love
yeah.
that. Yeah, for me, I had a fusion. So I had your typical fairy tales that you hear here in the UK,
Mm,
but then, Anansi the Spider Adventures,
mm,
of course, reached here in the. I don't think it reached mainstream. It was like mostly black children, or,
mm,
who know these stories,
mm.
who they filter down. But the games that we like playing in the playground all the time. We used to imitate films. We used to act out films that we'd seen.
Yeah.
So we'd be vampires, you'd be like, you be that, you be that, you be that. And we'd literally and
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't be like, oh no, is my, oh,
No,
I'm warmed up.
yeah.
You go. And it'd be
Yeah,
fun.
just no,
And
that's
one
right.
game that I made up,
Mm,
which I loved, and I'd love to do it, by the way,
mm,
is I used to gather a group of us. One person would go at the front of the group, and the job of that one person was just simply, in any way they could, but without touching people, without tickling them, make someone in the group laugh.
mhm,
And
mhm.
then the first person to laugh would go up and try and do the same thing. And that was so much fun. I just loved it. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, that's a fun one. It's the opposite of grandmother's footsteps.
Oh, wait, what's that one again?
Like in Squid Game, where she
Yeah.
turns and you freeze, and then she turns back in
Yes.
and turns and freezes.
Yeah, kind of is like that in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that one better, making people laugh, because that's really hard. People don't realize how hard it is to make people laugh,
Yeah.
So I think that's fun because you're then being silly, you're just going "Rah," or doing whatever. I mean, obviously with kids, you just say fart and they'll just laugh.
Oh
And it
dear. Last. Whoops.
we're okay, we're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just amazing though, like how different and how grown up we just get and become so detached from that freedom or that freeness of just be free to do what you feel like doing and not be, like they say, dance like the world's what is not watching, or like something like that, just that
Yeah.
freedom. And yeah, sometimes I do catch myself and I'm like, no, I'm like, why am I? And I also go as to myself internally, I'm like, why am I stopping my child from doing that? Like I'm like, oh, no, you're too loud, or you're too. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes it is like I'm like, oh my God, my ears. I'm just old, my ears. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, just let them be. They're having fun. They're playing. Also, it's
Yeah.
with siblings. They're playing nicely.
Yeah, which is good. Exactly. Exactly. Cherish those moments.
Um,
Harmony.
yeah, and then just like it's with my daughter, I'm trying to get her to be more confident. I just wanted to be more confident. Like I went to watch her real quickly. I went to watch her in a gym class, and she was like shy and stuff like that. And then they were trying to do like she was trying to do a handstand, but against the wall, and she was like, and I was like, she can do it. She was showing off to her brother all the time. So when I said, oh, she can do it,
Oh,
and then when the teachers went, okay, do it, she just even didn't think. She just did it. And when
oh,
she was like,
way.
yo.
Oh,
And I was like,
way.
yeah. I said to her, you just need that confidence. They did a little show as well with her friend the other day. And I said, that confidence you have is amazing. Keep it every time you do anything. Have that. It's yours. Don't be
Oh,
shy. Don't be, wait in class like you're in tap. You have a question, just ask. She
yeah.
always cowers away and she's quiet
Yeah.
in the corner. And but the minute she opens up and she has fun, she's like, I loved it. I enjoyed it. When she doesn't, she's like, oh, I don't want to go anymore because she's
Yeah. It's
that's
amazing how they change, isn't it?
for anyone considering having their kids doing tapes, or ever you have to work with kids, not tapes, but working with kids as a whole, like you were just saying, like it's having fun with them. And I've noticed like the best sets is when the kids and the adults are having fun together.
Yeah,
And
completely.
yeah, and you can see that in the delivery, in how the kid works at the end of the film. When you see it, when you watch it, you're like, wow, how did they get that kid to do that, man? Like, how did
Yeah,
they, do you know what I mean? When you see that, oh, wow, that kid's amazing. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing Adolescence on Netflix because
same.
everyone is talking about it, but also mostly because I guess it's just me being my technical side of it. I'm in it for the story, don't get me wrong, but I love seeing actors work. I love seeing people, and this kid is meant to be amazing in it. So,
Yeah.
and the best part is when they're like, "Oh, where did you learn to do acting?" When they ask them in an interview, and they're like, "Oh, no, never done acting before," and you're like, "Yes, because that was raw energy they were tapping into, and just
Yeah. I
so."
love that. I
Yeah,
love Stephen Graham
yeah, he's a
as well.
genuinely an underrated actor. He's very underrated
Yeah,
because
like sort of globally
yeah, but
or
even just here, like he's doing a lot of
okay.
stuff more here, but I
Mm.
think people just don't really take, notice him as much. Like he's not given the enough credit. Basically,
Okay, yeah.
he's not
Yeah,
given.
'cause he's an absolute force, a
Mm,
superstar. Yeah, I get what you mean. And it's like all actors know this because all actors watch him working and we're like blown away.
mhm.
But does the world know just how much of a genius he is? Apparently, he wrote Adolescence.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I saw an interview and yeah, he was saying that he was just reading a newspaper and he was just noticed story after story like well first time he read it he was like oh, okay. Then he read he's like wait, this seems to be happening but this is in different places. What's happening with kids at the moment? He was like, well, that's not a coincidence,
Yeah.
especially if it's different parts of the country. It's not like in the same
Yeah.
area. So that's why that's what started the journey of writing that.
Oh my goodness. Do you know, I really can't wait to watch it,
Yeah.
especially because as well as it being topical and sounding like it's going to pack an emotional punch, I've heard that each episode is all shot in one.
Yes, I love when they do that because
Yeah.
I find that that always builds that that feeling of you don't know because you never we always have the dramatic effect, we know what's going to happen. We know because we're watching so and so's side, we've watched so and so's side.
Hmm.
But when it's just like, this thing where they're having the family is having food at dinner or whatever, and then there's a knock on the door, and then the camera moves following the person, the parent answering the door, and it's a police officer. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
how?
It's live, it adds this charge,
Yeah.
and I would love to act in something like that because it's
Mm,
probably the closest you get
mm,
to theatre,
hmm
but on screen, right?
hmm
Because
Yeah.
it's all you rehearse.
Yes.
You've got one take. You've got
Mm.
to be on. You
Yeah.
can't just warm up. You can't, you're just like, go. And
Yeah.
that
The
must
one.
add like an adrenaline and a charge and
Yeah.
excitement.
The one I love one shot takes, especially like in some films and they've done it as well. And like in 1917 with Christopher.
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
One scene, the beach scene. And also, I have respect as well for the cinematographer and the crew because to obviously, like you said, rehearsing, it's not just you, the actor, rehearsing, but it's also them knowing where to be, when
Yeah.
to be, how to be, have someone spotting the cameraman, that, cinematographer,
Yeah.
the camera moving, also the cinematographer having discussed with the director exactly the shots and the scene and whatever, because
Yes.
they're very much as well in the director's seat,
Hmm.
their his arm basically. So they're
Hmm.
just following, moving, just
Yeah.
and when you see them moving, or it's sick.
The focus,
Yeah.
the teamwork, that is like
Mm.
the truest, most intense ensemble because you've got maybe 100 people
Hmm.
all working together. All their parts are
Yes.
crucial. One person messes up
Yeah.
and you might have to
Yeah.
go again. You might not have time to go again, or like,
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, like in that film with Matt Smith and what's her name? She was in the chess in Gambit. She was playing the lead, the one about chess.
Yeah, Anya.
Anya something. Yeah. There's a film they did together and he's like time traveling. I don't know.
Mm,
There's videos going around on the internet where they did the one shot thing. So they were doing the time lapse. So he's
yeah,
wearing this suit and it starts off with him and then they're just dipping away. They're getting changed and then someone else comes in, like the present, and then she's dancing with Matt Smith and then he spins around, the camera still following him. So they're diving every time it spins and let's go. and the camera
Wow.
follows when his hand, when there's someone is spinning when they're dancing, he lets them go. It follows his hand, and he's just like, then he comes back. And
Wowee.
oh my God, it's so amazing to see that the working behind the scenes where the camera starts here and then they just switch around. They just take
Wow.
and she just then so it was just showing like a timeline. He's doing the same dance routine but with two different people in different times.
Yeah.
And so they just and oh my gosh.
Choreography of that
The choreography
whole
and also the people, the supporting actors having to change as well around.
yeah
So that it's just like
wardrobe,
no, but
makeup.
no, just more like the people swapping. The people
Yes.
swapping the scene. So they
Yeah.
go from this people like just going
The actors
yeah,
or yeah.
yeah, because it's just the obviously Matt Smith just stays in
Yeah.
because the camera's on him. So when they're
Yeah.
swapping round, now the present supporting actors and the she was dipping down and you could see her bending and then she comes up and then
Wow, I love it.
it's amazing to watch. It's amazing to watch stuff like that. And I don't know what film it was. There's another one. Sorry, I just
No, please do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it.
and this they were filming like this scene in a room and kitchen and basically it starts off it's always usually as well like a lot of foreign films do that. It starts off here where she walks in and it's showing that thing again. It's like a time lapse. It's like the montage of the day passing, the days passing. So she walks in with her books and she drops them and then she continues to the kitchen, so the camera pans and follows her dropping the books, then he looks down on the books and then it comes back up like it turns. They're moving the set. You see these guys pushing the
Wow.
set, and then she comes back from the kitchen now because that's where she went, but she's
Yeah.
dressed differently. And you also see someone in the back getting her dressed like she's now made a cup of tea. She's holding the tea as she's walking. It was a rotating set, and
Love.
literally, and then as that is happening, then it catches her walking in, sitting down on the sofa. Then it continues moving, and it's like basically capturing the kitchen. So she's gone into the kitchen, so it continues. Then it goes to the window, the TV, then back to the door. Then like it basically in and out of the shot, and it's just like the choreography, the
Wow.
rehearsals that must have happened.
Send me that if you,
Yeah,
yeah, if you,
honestly, they're
amazing.
amazing to watch. They're amazing
Yeah.
things to watch, and how people manage to.
My favorite, most recent one, I mean, I love 1917, but was Boiling Point,
Ah,
made in
yes.
2021 during the pandemic. And that's all
Stephen
one
Graham
take
again as well, yeah.
exactly. And that just had me, I felt so tense in a
Mm,
good way
mm,
throughout the whole film.
nice.
And it was just so engaging. And yeah, of course, the acting's amazing. But that whole one take thing
Mm,
definitely added to the pressure and intensity and the
yeah.
tension of that film. So
My
yeah,
husband loved it because he used to be a chef, so he was just telling me about it. So he was just like, "Oh my God, this is great." He's like, "Oh my God, like yeah."
yeah.
So yeah, he said it was good, and that he appreciates as well the one shot thing, especially like with fight scenes as well. When they do a fight scene and they're just following this person, and then the person gets up, and then they're just carrying on, and it's just like he loves that too. It does create a very like engaging ambience for
Mm.
the person watching it, the people in the story, and that's why I have so much respect when the people working on that manage to, and you can also see that when they've done it, they go yeah when they finish, and it's like
Oh,
that, and they're all like.
so much like theatre, isn't it? Wow.
Because imagine like you spend the morning just setting up this shot and
All that prep that's gone into it, and
right,
finally shoot
you know.
day, time is money,
Hmm.
and you've got the location for a certain amount of time.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, has everything lined up? Is it,
Hmm.
are we ready? Are we doing okay? Oh my God, no, we've done it. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the art department having to change because it's like, oh, it's one room, but we have to make it look like three rooms, and then they
Hmm.
have just pushing the
Lighting,
set,
okay,
and then
sunsetting.
and then it's just push the set in, then the others are taking it off and then pushing the set in, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I have so much respect, and I would love, like you said, I'd love to be on a set like that because everyone has to be on their best, on their game, everyone,
Absolutely.
because otherwise you don't want to be that person.
I think
Mm.
you and I need to watch at least the first episode of Us Adolescents.
Okay.
We'll have a little recap on that or
Yes.
update on what we think in the
Yeah.
next episode. What do you
Yeah.
think? Yeah,
Yes, I think so.
amazing.
I think so. Because it's also got Ashley Walters as well in it. So I should do. So solid. Sorry. Anyway.
21 seconds ago. Why did you do this to me? Got 21 seconds to go. 21 seconds. Tap, 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 tap. 21 seconds. Whoop. You're going to leave me hanging there.
Sorry. Oh man. Yeah, I love that. Love that. But yeah, no, so it's really it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I'm up for that. I'm up for doing that. I'm excited for that actually. So yeah,
That.
we started off about your tape, and then we went on and talked about actually so many things that's really interesting, and we never really think about until you actually start talking about them. Uh,
Yeah.
Basically, be more fun, be like a child, just be free.
Yeah, exactly. Just be free, play, have fun,
Have fun.
commit,
Commit
full heart.
110%.
Yes. So, with that, Pauline,
Yes.
I wish you a week full of play and solid commitment and joy.
Oh,
And I
thanks,
look
man.
forward to seeing you next time. And
Yee.
thank you, lovely listeners. Mwah, 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 mwah. Have a good
Bye.
Bye.